You know, I usually stay out of these conversations, but with Caitlin Clark, I can't stay silent anymore.
I'm sick of watching Caitlin getting attacked. If the league doesn't step up and protect her, things are going to get ugly real fast.
Alyssa Thomas, that's what she does. She uses her body.
What happens when one of basketball's greatest legends sees the WNBA's brightest young star repeatedly caught in the middle of controversial physical play? According to this story, Michael Jordan's reaction to Alyssa Thomas's actions involving Caitlin Clark has sparked intense debate across the basketball world. And in just a moment, we'll break down why so many people are talking about it. The alleged events from the game against the Phoenix Mercury are said to have changed the way Michael Jordan viewed what has been happening around Clark. According to the narrative, that's where his perspective shifted the most. That's where the discussion surrounding Alyssa Thomas becomes even more controversial. According to the claims being circulated, Jordan allegedly viewed what happened to Clark differently from the physical battles that defined his own era. The reported quote making headlines describes it as the most cowardly act I've seen on a basketball court in decades. Whether that statement is authentic has itself become a major topic of debate, adding even more attention to an already explosive story.
When you watch this playback, you can see even before that, Alyssa Thomas knees Caitlin Clark in the groin, then puts her fist into Clark's neck, and then nearly stomps on Clark while stepping over her. The ball is already gone by the time any of that happens, and despite a ref being right there, they didn't call anything. Not long after that.
According to the story being circulated, Michael Jordan didn't stay silent after watching the footage involving Alyssa Thomas and Caitlin Clark. The sequence showed Clark reacting after taking contact near the eye before another collision occurred from behind, and the incident quickly became one of the most debated moments in the WNBA. If the reports are to be believed, Jordan viewed the play as crossing a line that basketball should never cross. Few people understand intense physical competition better than Michael Jordan. Throughout his legendary NBA career, he battled some of the league's toughest defenders, including Bill Laimbeer and Dennis Rodman, players known for making every possession a battle. Because of that experience, supporters argue that Jordan can distinguish between hard, championship-caliber basketball and actions that undermine the spirit of fair competition. According to the claims surrounding his reaction, what stood out most to Jordan wasn't simply the contact itself, it was when it happened. That timing, many believe, is what shaped his opinion of the play. We'll get into that in just a moment. Before we continue, if you're enjoying the video, don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss our latest basketball coverage. Now, back to the story. The discussion reportedly touched on something many basketball fans had already been debating for days. Jordan is said to believe there's an important difference between playing aggressive, physical defense and making contact with an opponent who isn't in a position to protect themselves. To him, those are two completely different things. Jordan often competed during what many consider one of the NBA's most physical eras. Hard fouls were common, but there was also an expectation that players would challenge each other directly. According to this version of events, Jordan believed that true competitors face their opponents head-on rather than taking advantage of moments when they're vulnerable. That perspective is why many believe his reported comments drew so much attention. Rather than focusing only on the play itself, the conversation shifted towards sportsmanship, accountability, and what players owe one another on the court. The debate became even more intense after Alyssa Thomas addressed the public reaction. According to reports, she suggested that the criticism from fans and the media had been excessive, famously saying, "Damned if I do, damned if I don't." Those remarks only fueled further discussion among basketball fans. According to the narrative, Jordan has always believed that the greatest competitors accept responsibility for their actions, especially when another player's safety could be involved. The version of his comments circulating online suggests that he places accountability above excuses, regardless of a player's status or accomplishments. The broader argument presented is that elite athletes should rely on their basketball ability rather than allowing controversial moments to define the conversation. Whether fans agree with that assessment or not, it has become a major point of debate. The comparison eventually returns to Caitlin Clark herself. According to those making the comparison, Jordan sees qualities in Clark that remind people of basketball's all-time greats: exceptional court vision, remarkable shooting range, a high basketball IQ, and an ability to elevate the performance of everyone around her. At the same time, supporters of this viewpoint argue that it's unfortunate when so much attention shifts away from those basketball skills and toward repeated controversies. Instead of discussing Clark's development and impact on the game, the conversation too often becomes centered on physical confrontations and heated incidents, something many believe takes attention away from the basketball itself. According to the narrative surrounding Michael Jordan's alleged comments, he believes the biggest problem isn't fierce competition. It's when players stop trying to beat Caitlin Clark with basketball and instead rely on unnecessary physical play. The argument is that truly elite competitors respond to extraordinary talent by improving their own game, not by looking for ways to disrupt an opponent when they're in a vulnerable position. Supporters of this viewpoint claim Jordan sees that kind of approach as harmful to the integrity of the sport. To him, basketball should always be decided by preparation, execution, and skill, not by actions that distract from the game itself. Those reported remarks quickly became one of the hottest topics in the basketball world. Many people drew comparisons between Clark's experience and Jordan's own early NBA years, when veteran defenders tested him with relentless physicality. But according to the story, Jordan also emphasized an important difference. Clark, still only 22 years old, has entered the league carrying enormous expectations while becoming one of the biggest names in women's basketball almost overnight. According to this version of events, Jordan believes she's dealing with an unusual combination of intense physical play, constant media attention, and the pressure that comes with being one of the league's most recognizable stars. One of the most widely discussed claims involves Jordan's reported warning about what could happen if controversial plays continue without meaningful consequences. According to the narrative, he believes that failing to hold players accountable sends the wrong message, not only to professionals, but also to young athletes watching the game. The concern, supporters argue, is that basketball should reward talent, discipline, and relentless work ethic. If the spotlight shifts toward controversial moments instead of outstanding performance, it risks changing what future generations believe success in the sport should look like. Jordan is also said to believe that adversity can shape greatness. According to the claims, every difficult moment Clark faces, from physical challenges to outside criticism, only adds to her determination to answer opponents with her performance rather than her words. The comparison reportedly goes back to Jordan's own rookie season, when experienced NBA veterans constantly tested his toughness. But many believe Clark's circumstances are even more unique because she's navigating those challenges while carrying unprecedented attention as one of the WNBA's biggest attractions. That is why, according to the story, Jordan's support for Clark resonates with so many fans. The discussion isn't presented as being about one player versus another. Instead, it's framed as a broader conversation about protecting the competitive integrity of basketball and ensuring that elite talent has the opportunity to thrive. In this narrative, Jordan sees Clark as representing the qualities that have always defined the game's greatest stars: elite court vision, exceptional shooting ability, leadership, competitiveness, and a commitment to elevating those around her. The larger question, supporters argue, is what direction the WNBA wants to take moving forward. Should the focus remain on showcasing the league's brightest stars and promoting basketball at its highest level, or should repeated controversial incidents continue to dominate the conversation? According to the reports circulating online, Jordan's message is straightforward. The future of the league depends on creating an environment where skill, preparation, and sportsmanship receive the most attention. That leaves one question at the center of the debate. Will the WNBA continue refining how it handles these highly publicized incidents, or will controversies surrounding physical play keep overshadowing the remarkable talent on the court? Now it's your turn to join the conversation. What do you think about the reports surrounding Michael Jordan's criticism of Alyssa Thomas? Do you feel his perspective makes sense, or do you believe the reaction has gone too far? And perhaps the biggest question of all, should the WNBA do more to protect its biggest stars while still preserving the physical nature of the game? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. I read through them and enjoy seeing the different opinions from basketball fans. If you're enjoying this kind of basketball coverage, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss our latest videos breaking down the biggest stories from around the league. Whether or not the reported comments accurately reflect Michael Jordan's views, they've certainly fueled a much larger conversation. This discussion is no longer centered on one game or one controversial sequence. It has evolved into a broader debate about the future of the WNBA, the balance between physical competition and player safety, and how the league handles its most recognizable stars. Very few athletes have entered a professional league carrying the level of attention that Caitlin Clark has. Every performance is analyzed, every highlight spreads across social media within minutes. Every difficult moment becomes a national talking point. That's the reality of being one of the biggest names in basketball today. At the same time, the league is filled with experienced veterans who compete with tremendous pride and intensity every night. Physical basketball has always been part of the sport, but many fans believe there's an important distinction between aggressive defense and unnecessary contact. The challenge for the WNBA is maintaining that competitive edge while also protecting the integrity of the game. That is one reason this debate has attracted so much attention. Michael Jordan built his legendary career against some of the toughest defenders basketball has ever seen. Because of that, many fans believe his perspective carries weight whenever conversations about physical play and sportsmanship arise. Regardless of where people stand, the discussion has become much bigger than a single incident. Across television, podcasts, and social media, opinions continue to pour in. Some believe the league should impose stricter discipline when controversial plays occur. Others argue that physicality is simply part of professional basketball and that stars must learn to play through it. There is no universal agreement, which is exactly why the conversation continues. One thing that has remained consistent is Caitlin Clark's approach. Rather than allowing criticism, controversy, or physical play to distract her, she has continued focusing on improving her game and competing every time she steps on the court. That resilience is one of the reasons so many fans continue to support her. Meanwhile, the WNBA is experiencing unprecedented growth. Attendance continues to rise. Television audiences are expanding, and millions of new fans are discovering women's basketball. As the league's visibility increases, every major storyline carries greater significance, not just for one player or one franchise, but for the league's image as a whole. As the season continues, every Caitlin Clark game will remain under the microscope. Every controversial play will spark debate. Every officiating decision will be dissected by fans and analysts alike. Those moments will continue shaping what has already become one of the most talked about seasons in recent WNBA history. Now we'd like to hear from you. Do you think the league has found the right balance between allowing tough, competitive basketball and protecting player safety? Has this controversy been overblown, or does it reveal a larger issue the WNBA needs to address? And what impact do you think all of this will have on Alyssa Thomas, Caitlin Clark, and the league moving forward? Leave your opinion in the comments below. We value respectful basketball discussions, and your perspective could even be featured in a future video. If you enjoy thoughtful analysis, breaking WNBA news, NBA legends, and the biggest stories surrounding Caitlin Clark and the world of basketball, don't forget to subscribe, turn on notifications, and stay connected with the channel. Thanks for watching, and remember, basketball never stops creating new storylines. We'll be here to break down the next big chapter as soon as it happens. Until next time, take care, and we'll see you in the next video.